Shabbat Shalom. We are in the second portion of the beginning, Bereshit. Now it's Noach. Now it's interesting, this portion, this narrative, because you need to read one verse, chapter 6 is where I start describing Noach, but we're going to start in 6:9. But before that, we learn about a little bit about Noach and how is descending of the group of families that he's coming from. And basically, Noah is described as a very special man in his generation. You know, he was a righteous man. I mean, and the understanding of the sages is that because he said in his generation, and because that generation was full of evil, he was less evil than the rest. No? And they don't give him the credibility or the position that he needs to have. And basically, they play that if he was born in the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, he would be a nobody. And you know, sometimes we have certain attitudes to speak about somebody else that we don't even know. Now, I want to tell you something that maybe will surprise you from me. You know, I never take the scriptures literal. I have told you this before. And sometimes I don't even take it historically. And many people will get upset with me about that, too. Because they say, how do you don't believe it existed or didn't exist? To me, that's not the problem, if it existed or not existed. It's too far away. I don't know, I cannot prove it, I cannot take my time to try to prove you something. Because to me, the one that is real is the Creator. The Borei Olam. The one that made us, created us, gave us his likeness and image, and he breathed on us and gave us his spirit, our neshama, our life is part of him. Then that, to me, is more than enough. Then everything that I'm going to read in the scriptures are narratives, stories, teachings, that it has a purpose and has a lot of principles within. And what we need to look is at the principle, what the Creator wants to teach us. You know, last night I asked a group of persons, I said this question: can you imagine about this Creator, the Borei Olam? How do we understand God? Omniscient, omnipotent, all omni, everything He is. No, Creator of the world. He created us, human beings. He created everything that exists, has existed because of Him. Now, the Creator, I imagine that He's smarter than me, no? He's smarter than anybody here. No, He created us. Now, let me ask you this question. They say that a donkey, when it's walking and goes through a path and falls in a hole, never again will fall in that same hole, because he already has put in his memory, I won't commit the same mistake. A donkey. That tells you that the donkeys are smarter than many of us, you know? Now, let me ask you this question. How much more the Creator? Can you imagine? And now, He said that He repented creating man, and He continued with man. He gave a second chance. And then after He gave a second chance, He got upset with man again. And this continued generation through generation. And it's very interesting how the narrative goes, only to give you a glimpse of the whole thing, okay? It's 10 generations, 10 generations, 10 generations. And if you do not take care, what a generation more or less is? 40 years. You know, that means there are 400 years, 10 generations. And you know, it's not interesting that when Abraham Avinu received a revelation from the Creator, he said that your people are going to be 400 years. And then it changed. what I want to tell you, every 10 generations, there is a change. In other words, humanity is going from bad to worse. You know? Keeps deteriorating. There is something that we need to understand. The Creator made us of His likeness and image, and He gave us a capability that only us human beings we can have. And I have repeated this to you many times. Shear. Free will. And free will by itself convey a lot of responsibility. Because it's up to you to make decisions and to decide which direction you go. According to our sages and understanding is we have two sides. Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Ra. You know, the word Yetzer, that is translated as most of the time inclination, maybe it would be better to understand it as our nature as human beings. Then we have two sides. And these two sides, which one is more prevalent? Anybody can answer to me? Yetzer Ra. That is very strong in us. And believe me or not, and this is something that maybe you will see in the negative way, and I can see in the positive way. The Yetzer Ra, the nature to do the opposite to do the Yetzer Tov, it is like a motor, an engine that pushes us to keep going. You know? And you're going to see that everything that pushes to keep going has, in certain way, this inclination in our nature. You know, for example, there was a movie that an actor said, greed is good. No? And why greed is good? Because greed makes you move to want to have something more. And you are capable to dominate that side and to put it in the right perspective, you will be amazing how many things you can accomplish. The Creator gave us these two sides, and we are in constant struggles. One more thing about Israel. It's very interesting, the name Israel. Israel, what it really means, is a conflict or struggling with the Creator. And why we human beings were struggling? Why Israel is struggling with the Creator? Why Jacob needs to struggle with it? Because the other side. Because we need to learn to dominate ourselves. Dominion, when you need the capability to docile yourself. No? Like a beast, like a wild animal, needs to be tamed. We need to tame ourselves. And this is a process. Now, you're going to see in the narrative of Noach, after all that the Creator did with Noah and his children, what is the first thing that he does after he is in land? He could plant anything else, but what is the first thing that he planted? His vineyard, to have his own wine. I like wine. But he was too excited that he drank too much. And we start seeing there our humanity. And one of his children didn't respect him. And that already tells us that even in the nucleus of our families, we have what we call it dark places. What the Creator is trying to tell us? The Creator was not smart enough to know that human beings, if we're going to give a free will, they're going to constantly do wrong. And why does he keep us on going? What is the reason that he continue with that? Why he has done infinite patience? He told Moshe Rabbeinu, I'm going to raise all this race that I brought to you, and I'm going to give you new people. And what Moshe Rabbeinu who interceded and said, no, please, erase me or take me out, but I don't do that. Why? Well, it was is the Creator is crazy? That he doesn't know what is going on? Is he not omniscient? There are many theologians that they say that what happened that the Creator doesn't have the capability to see the future, or he doesn't know. But everybody tries to explain it. But we need to go beyond ourselves and to look at from the perspective of the Creator, what is very difficult. What he's trying to do is to give us a constant opportunities to ourselves learn from our own mistakes and to be in the process of coming back. And he's constantly giving that opportunity from generation through generation through generation. Because he has not created slaves. And it's very interesting that when he's giving us the Ten Commandments, and later on, the first thing that he's going to talk is against slavery. And you know what is very sad? Then you mentioned a little bit about that, is that we human beings, we prefer to be dominated than to be responsible for ourselves. What do you think is the welfare system, especially in the socialist countries, and the one that has better care about the people? Why grow so fast? Because the government is going to take the responsibility from you to be responsible for your own actions, and you, the only thing that you need to do is to be taken care by the government, by the state. You sell your soul to the devil, literally. And you will be surprised that the great majority of people like that somebody made a decision for me. And what is, I sell myself to the system. That is the reason that religions are very, very opulent and big and great. Look at the greatest religions today, and look at how they move the world. Look at how much power they have, how much wealth they have accumulated. And anybody that goes against them disappear. And we are in that world. And you will say, what it has to do with Noach? Let me read to you something. I don't know if everybody put attention when they read the scripture. Chapter 6, I'm going to read verses 11 to 13. I don't know how many of you have put a little bit of attention when you read this portion. Now the earth has become corrupted. Okay? Okay. Before God, and the earth has become filled with violence. That word violence is Hamas. If very interested, Rashi, a great rabbi, Rashi, Ashkenazi rabbi. I prefer my Sephardi rabbi, like Maimonides, but that's okay. Rashi is excellent, good. But he translates as robbery. And to me, robbery takes away the real meaning. Okay? And he continues, he says, and God saw that the earth, and behold, it was corrupted again. The earth was corrupted. For all flesh has corrupted its way upon the earth. What was corrupted? the earth, you know? And people say, oh no, it's talking about the people. It's talking about everything that existed there. And you're going to see why I said to you, because the flood, it was only the men, and was not the animal, the vegetable or whatever, he needed to destroy them, only to destroy men. Everything was corrupted. And where the corruption started? Let me continue. And God said to Noach, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, and behold, I am about to destroy them from the earth. He is going to destroy everything. And why? Who is the one that has produced all this violence? Men. What I'm trying to bring to you, I don't give you answers to you. The only thing, I like to give you questions. I remember when I went to this place to study about God, I came with only 5,000 questions that I needed to ask. When I finished the course, the studies, I left out with 1 million questions. And my 5,000 questions never were answered. They only accumulated more. And what I'm trying to give it to you, the opportunity to think for yourself. My desire is not to give you a religion, not to give you 3 steps here and 3 steps there. But the Creator, blessed be His name, He has given you brains for you to utilize it. Don't be selfish, and don't be, what I would call it, the person that lazy. Okay, don't allow the other people live your life. Don't allow the other people tell you how to live your life. Because at the end, even if they give you bad advice, you are responsible for those actions that you take. You cannot make it responsible to others. And here, the Creator is telling Noah that because of men totally doing wrong, their actions are contagious, are like a malady, they are like a disease. It's infection that infects everything and is destructive. Today, have you seen how we are talking about the environment? The environment has become almost our God. A little girl now is more popular than God Himself here. Why? Because it's talking about the environment. And it's talking to the United Nations, to the world. And the problem that when it's talking, those people who say, yeah, we need to do, are the same people who say, let's save the whale, but let's kill the babies. Let's save, let's do the right way. And we are the most immoral generation that has existed. All our morals and values that are in the Torah has been destroyed and put down. And we are the same one that we say we are destroying the environment, when we don't realize that the environment is destroyed because men are becoming evil. Hamas. Don't be surprised that is this group of terrorists in Gaza. The same name, Hamas. But all of us, we talk about the freedom, the liberty, that everybody has a choice to do whatever they want to. And it's true. God has given us that. But when you have that freedom, you hold also responsibility. And they need to go hand by hand. Because whatever you do, you are responsible for your action. You can talk about something that is evil. Talk. The problem is what you are doing about it. Noach is the example of a man who, in a generation that was evil, was less evil than the others maybe, but God gave us the opportunity to continue. And to continue because he wants to renew the generations and to give us opportunities to renewal. And the opportunity of renewal is the opportunities of Shubha, returning to him. And like I told you, you're going to see this idea of the 10 generation is as an example. It's as a picture. And what I'm telling you, every 10 generations, even in our times, we see dramatic changes. We have had First and Second War in a place. Then there was a change in idea about peace and suddenly, boom, we fall down. And now we are in this period of self-destruction. And the worst part is that everybody is looking at others' eyes and they don't look at their own eye. We call it pluralism. We call it being libertarians. We call it that we are open-minded, that we are liberals, we are progressive. All those terms that they use. And you ask yourself what it really means is about do whatever you want to do without caring about others. Or the most important thing is you are the center of the universe. And here comes very interesting. Just before chapter 12, that is the next portion, Lech Lecha, with Abraham Avinu, can chapter 11. And then this picture is going to we know at the Babel Tower. You know? And it's interesting because in the etymology of the word Babel or Babel, you know, comes the idea of the gate of God. And then in the Hebrew language, they play with the sounds, you know, they like to, and becomes Babel, like a Babel, you know, and becomes the idea of confusion. Because men united as one, supposedly, and they had the one language, and they say one purpose. And what was the purpose? Let me read from 11. Chapter 11, verse 4. Okay, what do you say? I'm going to start from the beginning, from chapter 11. The whole earth was of one language and one common purpose. And it came to pass when they migrated from the east, they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they settled there. That is, they consider that Iraq, by the way. And they say to one to another, come, let us make bricks and burn them in fire. That already is telling you that they were advanced. They were not cavemen. They already had technology. They knew what they were doing. They were smart people. And they say, come and let us make bricks and burn them in fire. And the bricks serve them as a stone. And the bitumen, or the big men, or bitumen, who you say bitumen, serve them as a mortar. What is telling? There was oil in that area. The tart. Already, and look at today, Iraq and Iran, it's a lot of oil. I'm already telling you. And we say, and they knew how to use it. They were no dummies. They use it as a mortar. And they say, come, let us build a city and a tower which is top in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves. Let us make a name for ourselves. Like they didn't have a name. Let me ask you this question. Against who they were competing? Because this is the problem of us as human beings. When we deny the Creator, it's because we do not have to report to anybody, and we do not want to have under anybody. And this is the contradiction of humanity. Let me do whatever I want to do, but you take care of me. And we say, let us make an ourselves, unless that we be dispersed across the whole earth. It's interesting when God created man and woman, say, let's be fruitful and multiply and go everywhere and fill the earth. No? And they are saying, it's better that we keep together because, and almost like they were going against what the Creator was telling them from the beginning to humanity. And the Lord said, behold, they are one people with one language. For all this they begin to do. And now should know all their purpose to do be withheld from them. Come, let us descend, and there confuse their language, that they should not understand one another's language. And the Lord dispersed them from there over the face of the whole earth, and they stopped building the city. The question always is, what do we get from these narratives, these teachings? It's very interesting when there is what I call a complot, an intention of men to do evil. They get all together. No? And when they want to do something good, there is division. But to do evil, they are all together. What is my portion? What is my part? What is for me? And this is about the beginning of humanism. One of the oldest religions in the world. The enthronement of men as their own gods. And they create their own leaders, and they need to have their own gods. And it's interesting, very interesting, that other God has human traits. In other words, their gods are humans, or we make our gods humans. What do we can learn now about the environment? What we can learn about how the world is getting worse and worse? Another thing, when my dear friend said to me, the world is not getting worse, it's getting better. If you are optimistic, of course. If you are blind, of course. If you don't want to see beyond your nose, of course. If you are isolated from the world, of course. But if you can interact with people, you are going to see how we are doing. You know, right now, we are so liberated that, for example, now drugs are becoming accessible to people, and it's okay. But some people say, you know, to be 18 years old, you are too young to consume. We are going to put it to 21. Like 3 years is going to change the mentality of the people. No? And what are we doing? Am I my brother's keeper? Eternal question. We want it or no. In a community, in society, we are responsible for each other, even if we don't want to be. And what we are learning from this portion is about the deterioration of humanity, because we as human beings, we start taking positions that are not for us. You know, in the scriptures, in the Varim, in chapter 29, 28, say that the thing that God has not revealed to men is for men not to know. And the thing that he has revealed to men is for men to know. What is the thing that we are more interested in? Is the things that are revealed or the things that we cannot know? And the things that have been revealed, don't even we master them. Totally the opposite. We leave it out. Well, because we are too busy doing other things. To finish this presentation, Noach means comfort. The name itself has an idea that is the Creator who wants to keep us, to comfort us, to give us life, a suitable life, and a life that's worthy to live. And we are going to be in constant struggles because our society is going to be divided, and yes, there are going to be evil people, the Hamas, violent. But if those ones who are clear on their understanding could be more clear and open and honest, and to say there are certain things that are not right, those ones who are doing wrong, maybe they can be put in front of everybody, and maybe they will try to do something else. We are all responsible for each other. That's what we call a community. That we depend on each other. And we need to help each other. And we need to grow in the right way. Even that sometimes, I'm going to use a term that is very interesting. We are tempted to do the other way. And then we need to learn to dominate ourselves. It's a process that all of us, if we walk with God, like a Noach here say in the beginning, and Noach walk with God. And it's my prayer that all of us, we walk with God. Shabbat Shalom.